everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Lisa, the owner of Zenzaya Candy Company. Well, this is a subject that everyone that owns a business is thinking about and also talking about. So I wanted to talk about it on my channel as well. You know, there's so many things that's going on in the world right now. It's 2022. We're in coming towards the ending of practically the summer, because a lot of kids are, it's not technically the end of summer, but it's the end of, yeah, because a lot of kids are going back to school, you know, lots of vacation time, you know, people are back into the normal routine. But we still have August for summer, you know. But guys, it's a touchy subject, but I wanted to talk about it because realistically, if you own a business or work for someone, they're probably talking about it, thinking about it, but I have thought about it. I have discussed it with other people, and now I want to talk about it with you guys. So here we are, we're just coming out of a pandemic. We're in 2022. And things are on the rise, guys. Things are on the rise. Now, 2021, a lot of people were like, you know, testing the waters and seeing, you know, trying to come back out there and see if things felt the same as before. I won't even use the word normal, because I think we all know now that nothing was normal beforehand. but things are on the rise. Now, in March of 2022, I did raise my prices for my products for my business. And I told all of my customers ahead of time that I was going to do it. A lot of them understood because they realized that with inflation, things being on the rise, you know, when you had a big shutdown of something, just to come back up, it's a little bit hard. Food is up, gas is up, everything is up, you know. But I didn't drastically change my prices to where you cannot afford it. People are still telling me that my prices are still quite affordable. I still can raise it some, believe it or not. They're being honest with me, but I still don't want to raise it too high. I will probably think about it for next year, right? But that's a whole different subject. What we're talking about here today is about the recession, inflation, stuff that's going on. Well, I'll talk about the prices later. But guys, sometimes when you go into the supermarket, there aren't enough food out there. There's a lot of homegrown stuff happening, which is always great for yourself, your family, and for the community. A lot of people are attending farmers market more than ever to try and get a deal, but yet they understand it takes a lot of work for you to grow your produce and, you know, harvest it and then bring it, clean it, you know, the whole 9 yards. Even with my business, they understand that a lot of it is handmade, and they're perfectly fine with the prices because they know, you know, when you educate them and you talk to them, you know that handmade stuff, there's a lot of time and effort goes into the quality of making stuff and just for it to come to your home. So what have I been thinking about? So, you know, I just finished doing a video, guys, where I told you guys, you know, how you have to have different streams of income, why I started doing candle making workshops, how it all came about. But now I'm at the point where things are not going down. Even house prices are high. I do have a home, but then I'm getting phone calls and text messages asking me to sell my home. But it is a buyer's market out there, and I don't know. The money seems good, but when you get the money, like, where are you gonna go? Because everything else is so expensive. And I love my home, but I'm just telling you the things that are happening around me, to me, you know, when this recession and inflation, because people are talking about everything has to crash before it gets better. Things are going to get higher and higher and worse. You've heard the saying, things are going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know, but I do have a garden in my backyard. I do grow some of my own produce. I'm thinking of ways that I can hold on to the little bit of money that I have, how can I do stuff because my business is sustainable, it is eco-friendly, it is recyclable. I try and maintain some of the same principles for my home as well. Like how can I budget out my money a little bit better, not eating out as much, go and eat some of the produce from my garden, even though this year my garden we planted a little bit late, but still there's stuff out there for me to harvest and to eat. And I was talking to this lady, another vendor, another business owner at the market, and we were just throwing out ideas like, what if things get worse for the economy again? Lord knows we cannot take another shutdown, but what if? The thought always crossed my mind, what if we have another shutdown? What do I need to focus on in my business? And in my business, I need to focus more on online. Right now, because I'm doing 5 farmers markets and I'm still doing a few hand-picked events, I have to admit that my online is not have that much focus, and I need to focus more on it. I've also added, because a lot of people have asked me to put a few on Etsy. I don't put a lot on Etsy. I only have like a handful of products on Etsy. So if you feel comfortable going to Etsy and you love Etsy, you can find a few of my products there as well. So like I said, it's all about pivoting, making it work for your business. But what if there is another shutdown or recession or something like that? People are not going to focus on candles that much unless they're true avid candle lovers. You know who you are. But realistically, let me tell you a little story again. Back in many moons ago, I think the United States went through a recession as well. I don't know if you guys remember. I was young then, and there were I was in between jobs. I was very young, and I started thinking to myself, what would people want if, back then I was thinking if the world shut down, who would have thought it would actually happen? What would people need if everything was no longer? And I said to myself, they will need food, and they will need their phone, and there was a third thing, they will need medical care. Those are the 3 things I thought about, in my 20s, and that had moved me into going to work for a major cell phone company back in the day. So now the thought is crossing my mind again, okay, I've been through a pandemic, I did online, I even opened up a business online, okay, but things are getting a little bit worse, I feel, after the pandemic. How can I sustain, how can I survive, with my business, my home, everything? So then I started thinking again, okay, what will people need? They still will need all 3 things. If anything, they're buying more food, making their own food. But how can my business survive during a recession and an inflation? So like I said, I have to focus more on my online, get the word out that they still can purchase it. I've even added like a delivery, like I'll even deliver it if you live within a certain distance from the business. But unfortunately for other people that live in other states, they still have to do the shipping. There's still a lot of people that don't like to do and process and order stuff online. Believe me, guys, there's still a lot of people out there, and I don't blame them. With all the scams and nonsense that people are trying to do and take away the trust from people, it's just not good. So I'm like, okay. So then I started thinking, okay, I'm going to either have to add on a new business, and the new business will have to include food. And what would that look like? Because after all, I do have a garden, and just throwing out ideas. By me talking with another business lady, she was thinking the same thing. She's given me some ideas as far as she doesn't have a garden. She's going to start one. And then she was thinking about how is she going to feed her dogs. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have dogs. But she has a dog food business. And I was like, okay, but hers are only treats. How can I feed my dogs? You know, these are just things that people are thinking about, like, how can I survive if there's no food in the supermarket? I've been there before, guys, because I used to live in Florida. And if you've been through a hurricane, one or two or 10 times or more, like I have, you know that everything shuts down for a couple of weeks. Sometimes there's no electricity and stuff like that. What would you do if you haven't experienced stuff like that before? If there's no electricity, how can I make my products? How can I, you know, carry on? You know, these are just things for us to think about during these tough times that we've never experienced, or maybe you have before. But it's something as a business owner we have to think about. There has to be a plan B. There has to be a plan C. Okay. So that's what's happening. I just wanted to talk about it and share with you what my thoughts are, and ask you to comment down below. Have you thought about these things before? Are you currently thinking about it? What did you do? What are you doing? What do you plan to do? These are all things we all should be thinking about. I know for my business, yeah, I have to focus more on online, but I also know I have to do another business. If all else fail with everything else, maybe I'll consider going back to the corporate world, but I don't want to, guys. I don't want to, but we don't know what will happen. But at least I'm starting to think about it before it's too late, you know. And sometimes when you have plans, you know, God may want you to do something else that's different from the plans that you have as well. So I just don't know. All I can do is take it one day at a time, knowing that at least I've thought about it. I have a plan in mind, and it's just about executing that plan and at least getting it started. Now I have tested the waters a little bit with what my next business venture will be, so stay tuned for that. But like I said, these are things that as an entrepreneur and a business owner, we have to think about it. And I know the bigger you get in a company, you got to start thinking about your employees. If you're going to lay them off, fire them, all that kind of stuff, how can you maintain them? Everybody's thinking about it, you know. And I will be having a sale soon, because it is my company's second year in business. 2 years already, guys. 2 years. Who can believe it? A lot has happened in 2 years, and I am still learning, guys. I'm still learning. How can I make things more efficient, more better, you know. And because I used to do project management as well, you never lose that, because project management, you can take it on with everything that you do. It's still you still want to think about how to make things a little bit easier, and especially when you're doing stuff by yourself like me. But guys, I hope that you guys enjoy what my thoughts are and what's happening. Just food for thought. Until next time, don't forget to go online and visit my website, which is Zenzaya Candle Company. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share, and tell a friend. Purchase a ZZ candle and wake up the ZZ in your life. Until next time, peace, love, bye.